The year was 2001. In the lush green state of Kerala in southern India, something truly bizarre began to happen. It started around the 25th of July. Dark clouds gathered, as they often do during the monsoon season. People expected ordinary rain, the kind that nourishes the land, but what fell from the sky was far from ordinary. It was a shocking, unsettling sight. The rain was red, not just tinged with a bit of colour, but a deep, alarming red that reminded many of blood. This was not a subtle shift, it was a dramatic transformation of a natural phenomenon. Imagine stepping outside expecting a normal day. Instead, you see scarlet raindrops splashing down. They landed on leaves, on roads and on buildings, leaving vivid red marks. The initial reports were scattered, coming from different parts of Kerala. Some people were confused, others were frightened. Was this some kind of pollution? A strange chemical reaction high in the atmosphere, or perhaps something else entirely, something no one could immediately explain? The questions started almost as soon as the first red drops fell, creating an atmosphere of unease and intense curiosity across the affected regions. This strange red rain did not fall continuously. It occurred in sporadic showers over a period of about 2 months. Sometimes the rain would be normal, clear water. Then, without warning, another downpour would bring the crimson hue back. This intermittent nature added to the mystery. If it was a single atmospheric event, why did it come and go? The intensity of the color also varied. At times it was a light, pinkish red, while at other times it was a startling, opaque scarlet, strong enough to stain clothes and collect in pools that looked unnervingly like diluted blood. The news of this blood rain quickly spread. Local newspapers were filled with stories and pictures. National and international media soon picked up on the event. Scientists were, of course, very interested. What could cause such a dramatic and localized coloration of rain over such an extended period? Initial thoughts ranged from desert dust blown from afar to some kind of industrial pollutant. But as samples were collected and the rain continued its strange pattern, the mystery only deepened, setting the stage for a fascinating scientific investigation and much public speculation about its true origins. The visual impact of the blood rain was profound. It wasn't just a scientific curiosity, it was an experience that affected daily life. Clothes hung out to dry were suddenly and unexpectedly stained a persistent reddish color. White garments, in particular, bore the brunt of these unusual showers, turning pink or deep red. This caused practical problems for many residents. They had to be wary of when they did their laundry, constantly checking the sky. The vibrant color was not easily washed out, leading to frustration and a growing collection of discolored fabrics throughout the affected districts of Kerala. The red rain also transformed the landscape, albeit temporarily. Puddles of crimson water collected in streets and courtyards. These pools looked rather eerie, especially in the bright Indian sunlight. Leaves on trees and plants would be coated with a fine, reddish residue after a shower. Rivers and wells in some areas were reported to have a reddish tinge after heavy downpours of the colored rain. This naturally raised concerns about the safety of the water. Was it safe to drink? Could it harm crops or livestock? People were understandably anxious about the potential effects of this strange precipitation on their health and environment. Local authorities and scientific institutions began to collect samples of the red rainwater almost immediately. They needed to understand what was causing the coloration. Eyewitness accounts were also crucial. People reported that the rain sometimes fell with loud thunderclaps and lightning, even when the red rain itself was localized to a small area of just a few square kilometers. Some even reported a strange smell accompanying the rain, though this was not a consistent observation. The collection of these diverse experiences was vital for piecing together the puzzle of this extraordinary phenomenon. The phenomenon wasn't uniform across the entire state of Kerala. It was primarily concentrated in the southern and central districts. This localization was another puzzling aspect. If it was caused by something in the upper atmosphere, like dust from a distant desert, why wasn't it more widespread? Why these specific areas? This patchiness suggested a source that might be more regional, or perhaps a very unusual atmospheric condition that concentrated the coloring agent in specific locations. The strange, almost selective nature of the blood rain added layers to its already mysterious character, making it a truly captivating event for all who witnessed or heard about it. Scientists were eager to analyze the red rainwater. The initial, most straightforward idea was that dust or sand was responsible. Deserts, like those in Arabia or even closer to home in Rajasthan, can send plumes of fine dust high into the atmosphere. This dust can travel thousands of kilometers. If such a dust cloud passed over Kerala as rain formed, it could, in theory, color the raindrops. This explanation seemed plausible at first. It accounted for the reddish color, as many desert sands are rich in iron oxides, which are reddish. However, this theory soon faced some challenges when the samples were examined more closely. When the collected rainwater was studied under microscopes, scientists found something surprising. The red color wasn't primarily due to inert dust particles. Instead, it was caused by a vast number of microscopic biological-looking cells. These were not grains of sand, they were roughly spherical or oval and had distinct cell walls. This discovery shifted the investigation in a new direction. If these were biological cells, where did they come from? One prominent theory emerged. The particles were spores from a locally abundant type of alga, possibly a species of Trentipolia. This kind of alga grows on tree barks and rocks and is known for its orange or red appearance due to carotenoid pigments. The algal spore theory gained considerable support. Trentipolia is common in Kerala. It was proposed that strong winds or unusual weather patterns could have lifted vast quantities of these spores into the atmosphere. These spores then mixed with moisture in the rain clouds, leading to the colored rain. This would explain the biological nature of the particles. It could also potentially explain the localized nature of the showers, as spore concentrations might be higher in certain areas. Further analysis suggested that the cells contained genetic material, DNA, which is consistent with them being biological spores from Earth. This terrestrial explanation, centered on algal spores, became the most widely accepted scientific view. It provided a rational, Earth-based reason for the strange color of the rain. The presence of these specific algae in the region, their known coloration, and the biological characteristics of the particles found in the rainwater all pointed towards this conclusion. While some minor inconsistencies or unanswered questions remained, such as the sheer quantity of spores needed, the algal theory offered a coherent and scientifically testable hypothesis for the mysterious blood rain of Kerala, grounding the phenomenon in known biological processes. It was a fascinating example of how nature can sometimes produce truly astonishing sights. Despite the strong scientific case for algal spores, more speculative theories also emerged. The sheer strangeness of the event captured the public imagination. Some early reports and a few independent researchers proposed a more sensational origin: extraterrestrial life. The idea was that the red particles were not from Earth at all. Instead, they might have come from space, perhaps carried by a meteor or comet fragment that disintegrated high in Earth's atmosphere. This theory, often linked to the concept of panspermia, the idea that life can be distributed across the universe on meteoroids, was incredibly exciting. This extraterrestrial hypothesis was fueled by some initial analyses that controversially suggested the cells lacked DNA or had unusual chemical compositions. If the particles were indeed alien microbes, it would be a discovery of monumental importance. Proponents of this view pointed to the reports of a loud sonic boom or meteor airburst heard in the region shortly before the red rain incidents began, suggesting a possible cometary bolide event. The cell's apparent ability to reproduce at very high temperatures, as claimed by some, also added to the alien mystique. These claims, however, were heavily debated and not widely accepted by the mainstream scientific community. The scientific consensus largely dismisses the extraterrestrial origin theory for the Kerala blood rain. More detailed studies confirmed the presence of DNA in the particles, consistent with known terrestrial organisms like Trentipolia algae. The unusual chemical compositions or reproduction claims were not independently verified or were attributed to misinterpretation of data. While the idea of life from space is fascinating, the evidence in this specific case pointed overwhelmingly towards a more down-to-earth, though still unusual, explanation. The allure of an alien cause, however, is powerful and often persists in popular discussions. Today, more than 2 decades after the Crimson Showers of 2001, the Kerala blood rain remains a captivating event. While science offers a likely explanation in the form of algal spores, the sheer visual drama and the initial mystery have left a lasting impression. It serves as a vivid reminder that our planet can still produce phenomena that surprise and baffle us. The story continues to generate excitement, partly because it brushes against those big questions about life's origins and the possibility of life elsewhere. Even with a probable earthly cause, the blood rain of Kerala retains an aura of the extraordinary, a colourful chapter in the annals of unusual natural events.